Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to today's webinar and bootcamp. My name is Kuku Bright. I'm a website developer and also a platform integration lead with Blue Space Africa. Before we start, I would like to confirm if you all can hear me. So if you can hear me, maybe you can just type yes in the chat for me to know you can hear me. Okay, great. So we continue then. So this bootcamp or webinar is for beginners, people who are passionate about technology, especially programming, web development aspect of programming, but they are beginners. This bootcamp is for them. We are all at home now, most of us, because of the restrictions on COVID-19. So this is a good time for all of us to acquire a new skill as we await these restrictions to be lifted. We are going to be talking about web development today, so why don't we get started? Along the line, if you have any questions, you can kindly post them in the chat. We highly recommend that everybody turns off video and everybody goes on mute so that we can enjoy the webinar. All right, Laurentia and Collins are on standby to assist if anybody needs help. So you can post your concerns, your questions in the chat, and they will quickly help you with that. All right, so introduction to computer programming, specifically the web development aspect of it. What is web development in the first place? Any activity that involves creating of websites on the internet is web development, whether you are doing it for fun or you are doing it for money. So far as the end product will be a website, it is web development. Why is web development important? Because websites promote businesses 24/7. No employee does that. As a result, every business needs a website. So web development as a service is in high demand. What is the evidence of this? When we do a quick Google search, is web development lucrative? These are some of the results that pop up. One says, employment of web developers is projected to grow from 2018 to 2028 by 13%. And on the average, compared to all other occupations, it is growing much faster. So we can say web development is in high demand, and as a result, it can be lucrative. Another search result also says, it is safe to say that web development is an ideal choice for individuals who have just stepped into the IT industry. Why is that? Because it is in high demand. Other IT-related services are equally in high demand. But personally, I think web development is an easier place to start. Okay, so if you have joined this bootcamp because you want to be a web developer, now you see it's the right choice for you, right? Great, so where do you start? Where can you start your journey as a web developer? You can start by joining bootcamps like this one. You can subscribe to paid courses on udemy.com or websites like udemy.com. On those websites, some courses are free. You can take those free courses as well. Websites like w3schools.com have dedicated their content to helping people learn programming and web development. So you can visit these websites, w3schools.com or websites of the like, to learn about web development. Some NGOs as well are doing very great when it comes to helping young ones with IT knowledge. One such NGO is Maxim Nyansa, and you can visit their website to learn more about what they do and how they can help you. I'm also coming up with a new program called Private Lessons with Bright. So after the bootcamp, I'll talk a little bit about that and how that can help you if you think it's an option for you. All right, so what do you need to become a web developer, or what do you need to start web development? All you need is a laptop, whether it's the latest MacBook or whether because of some reasons you are still on Windows XP. So far as you have a laptop, you can start web development in some way. And you have to start now. The reason being that if you are postponing it a year from now, you will wish that you had started today. So I think this is the right time for anybody to start web development, especially now we are home because of COVID-19. Okay, you also need a text editor. So once you get a laptop, you have to install a text editor on it. We've shared these links. Okay, just a second. Some people can't hear anything. Is that the case for everybody? Please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, kindly type yes. Okay, so some people can hear me. So those who can't hear, maybe you have an issue with your sound at your end, so you may want to check it out. Okay. Okay, all right, good. So let's continue. So once you have the laptop, then you will need a text editor. Almost every laptop comes with a default text editor. So on Windows, Notepad is the default text editor. You can start using that to learn web development. Though it doesn't have powerful features to help you or assist you on that journey, but you can start with it if this is the first time. You can download Sublime Text. It's a software for web development or for coding. You can download Notepad++. And there is another one called Visual Studio Code, VS Code. You can download that one as well. I don't have that logo on the slide, but I posted the links to these softwares in the group. So if you don't have them, maybe you could try and get them now. Okay, thank you. Any questions up to this point before we continue? If you have any questions, kindly type them in the chat. Then we address them and we continue. All right, I assume we are okay, so we can go ahead. Okay, so enough talk. Let's get into some code now. HTML and CSS, these two languages are the core of websites on the internet. HTML is like the bone or the foundation of the website or the skeleton of the website. And CSS is what we use to beautify the website. HTML is the standard language for creating websites. With that, you can create a website of your own. How does it look like? So on the left here, you will see some sample code. That is how HTML looks like. So you realize the first line over there, we have some kind of angle brackets. We have an exclamation sign. We have some text between the two angle brackets. And then throughout the code from that line to the bottom, we see a similar pattern. All right, so when we look at the first line, the first angle bracket, the text between that and the other closing angle bracket, that is called a tag. When we come to the next line, we have another one, the same pattern, angle brackets, and there's a text between those two angle brackets. That's also a tag. So in HTML, we are going to be writing tags to define various elements. If we want a heading, Then we are going to be defining a tag for a heading. If we want a paragraph, we are going to be defining a tag for a paragraph. So HTML is all about tags. The browser does not display the tags, but it reads them. By reading the tag, it understands what kind of element you want to display on your website. Okay, so this is the core of any web page. All web pages should start with a doc type declaration. So I'm going to switch to my text editor. If you also can, you can also switch to your text editor, or you wait when I'm done with the illustration, then you try it at your end. So I have a new document here. Assuming I want to start a web page, I have to open an angle bracket like this. Let me see if I can zoom in. I have to open an angle bracket like that. And the first line I want to type is my doc type. What does this tell the browser? This tells the browser that the document you are trying to create is a web page. It's not a PDF. It's not Microsoft Word. It's not PowerPoint. It's a web page. Doc type HTML. Okay, so now after telling the browser the type of document we are creating, we now start creating the document itself. When we go back to the slide, the next line of code we want to introduce is the HTML tag. So after the doc type, after you declare your doc type, the next thing you want to declare is your HTML tag. So I'm going to do that here. After the doc type, I declare my HTML. If you realize before I declare any tag, I open an angle bracket. I type in the name of the tag and I close the angle bracket. This is all we will be doing in HTML, nothing different from this. So let me repeat that one again. The first thing you have to do after opening your text document, if you are creating a website, is to declare your document type. How do you do that? So you open an angle bracket, an exclamation sign, and you say doc type HTML. This tells the browser that this document is not a PDF. This document is not a Microsoft Word document. This document is not an Excel document, but it's a web page. I hope that one is clear. Okay. Please, somebody is off mute. Kindly mute yourself for us. Thank you very much. Great. So after declaring your doc type, the next thing you want to do is declare your HTML tag. You do that by opening an angle bracket, type HTML, and you close your angle bracket like that. So this is the second thing you do in developing a web page using HTML. Now, there is a rule that we have to follow. And when I say there is a rule, don't feel the rules are so many. No, the rules are not many. There are just some few rules you have to follow. And one of them is whenever you open a tag, you have to close it. Whenever you open a tag, you have to close it. What do I mean by when you open a tag? So this is the HTML tag. I open the tag by opening the angle bracket, typing HTML, and then using the closing angle bracket like that. Now, this whole thing over here highlighted is called the opening tag. This is the opening tag for HTML. To close the tag means I create another HTML tag like that. But this time around, after the opening angle bracket, I bring a forward slash. So this becomes the opening HTML tag, and this becomes the closing HTML tag. Great. So anything between these two tags is the content of the element. So assuming I type here demo site, now this whole thing becomes an element. And this is the content of this HTML tag. Okay, let's continue so that we don't use too many jargons at this point to confuse anybody. So what we want to keep in mind is that whenever you open a tag, you have to close it. You open a tag by doing it this way, you close a tag by doing it that way. The only difference is you have a forward slash after the opening angle bracket. Please, is that clear? Any questions up to this point? If there are questions, you could type in the chat. If not, then let's continue. All right. So looking at our slide over here, right after the HTML, the next element or the next tag we have to introduce is the head tag. The head tag. So this is a kind of format that we are trying to follow. Okay, this is a format we are trying to follow. So your doc type, your HTML, your head. So let's go and do that. We already have the doc type, we have the HTML which has been opened and closed. Now after this one, we want to introduce our head tag. And we introduce the head tag this way by opening an angle bracket, closing the angle bracket, and then between those two brackets, the name of the tag. Doc type, HTML, head tag. And remember the rule, whenever you open a tag, you have to what? You have to close it. Great. So now let's close our head tag also. We close the tag by doing this. And then we introduce the forward slash like that. Okay, great. Now what next? So in the procedure that we are trying to follow, doc type HTML head. Now we realize within the head tag, we need to introduce a title tag. We need to introduce a title tag. HTML is all about tags. Great. After the head tag, we introduce a title tag, and we realize the title tag is inside the head tag, right? Great. Let's try that at our end here in the editor. So inside my head, I'll introduce my title. And the rule says that anytime you open a tag, you have to what? You have to close it. So this is my title tag. I will close it this way. Great. Now, what is the purpose of this title tag? Let me quickly demonstrate or show what it does. So assuming I go to this website, google.com. The page loads, right? And in the tab at the top over here, okay, what do you see? You see the text Google. Let's come back to our code. Anything we put in the title over here is what is displayed when we load our website in the browser. So when we check Google's code, in the title, they have the text Google. That is why it is displaying over here. All right. So I guess from that demonstration, we now understand the purpose of this tag. Okay, so I will call the title my web page instead of Google. All right. What next? Now, after the heading, we have, or the head, we have the body. So the head consists of the title. After the head, we have the body. And so we will also introduce a body tag in our code. So I'll come out of the head and I'll introduce a body tag. Don't forget the rule. Anytime you open a tag, you have to what? You have to close it. So I'll close my body tag that way. Okay, I'm almost done with my first web page. What is left? Just like a letter, we have, in any letter, we have the address, the introduction, the body, right? The body is where you pour your feelings into the letter, whatever you want to say, it goes in there, right? So it's the same idea. In the body of our web page, whatever we want to be displayed to the user, we put it there. Okay. So anything you see on this page over here is in the body tag of Google's code. Great. So let's come back to our own code over here. And in the body tag, what do we want to put there? Let's just put some random text. Let's say, welcome to my site. What else have we to do? I think from here we are okay. We have some content in our body. We have our doc type. We have our HTML. We have our head. We have our title. And we realize that whenever we open, we close. Whenever we open a tag, we close. So up to this point, I think we are good to preview our first web page to see how it looks like. So I'll quickly save this document. I'll save on my desktop. And I will I'll create a new folder on the desktop called Code COVID-19. And in that folder, I will now name my file. I'll call my file Kweku Bright. And then I'll give it an extension of .html. So instead of just saying Kweku Bright, I'll name the file kwekubright.html. What does this do? The .html section of the file name tells your computer that this file should be opened in a browser because it's a web page. If you don't specify the extension as .html, the browser may not be used to open your file, or your file may not open in the browser successfully. Please, I hope that one is clear. So I saved my page kwekubright.html. I save it in my folder, and then I click on save. Great. Once I do that, you realize that the color of the text in my text editor changes. Why is that? Because the text editor has identified that this is an HTML document. All right, great. So I'll go to my file, and then I would try to open this in a browser. So let's say code COVID-19. Okay, so I'll just open in Google Chrome. All right. So now I've opened on my Google Chrome, and this is what we see. Welcome to my first website. Why do we see this? We see this because this is what we coded, right? We are seeing welcome to my first website over here because that is what we told the browser to display. So let me change this to I am passionate about the web. And then let me save and go and refresh, see what the browser tells us. It says, I am passionate about the web, right? Because this is what we coded. This is what we told the browser to display. All right. Let's go back to our slide. So what have we learned on this slide? From this slide, we have identified the structure of every web page. Every website starts with a document type declaration. With the document type, we tell the browser that, look, this document is not a PDF, this document is not a Word document, but it is a web page. And then we start developing the web page by introducing some tags. And these tags have to be introduced in some order. We first introduce the HTML tag by opening an angle bracket, typing the text HTML and closing the angle bracket. And we have one rule so far. Any tag you open, you have to what? You have to close. Followed by the head tag, which is in the HTML tag. So the head tag is the content of the HTML tag. And then we have the title tag, which is in the head tag. And we realize that the title is what is displayed on top of what? The tab. So when we come here, over here, we have my web page because that is what we set as the title over here. Okay. And then we can now patiently develop the body of our website by introducing the body tag, and anything we put inside the body tag gets displayed on the page. So the keywords we are taking from this slide is web development in HTML. Everything is about tags. We have opening tags. They don't have the backslash. We have closing tags. They have the forward slash rather. They have the forward slash, right? Great. And then a tag is angle brackets with some text in it. Opening angle bracket, text, closing angle bracket. Okay, please, do you have any questions at this point? Can we move on to the next slide? If there are any questions, kindly type them in the chat so we can address them. Okay, great. Somebody says, can you take me through how to load the code into the web page? So I'll quickly go over that again. So assuming you have this code, right? Assuming you are done creating or typing your code, the next thing is to save. So you go to save, and then it asks you for the name of the file, right? Now you type the name of the file, to Fulbright 2. You have to tell the computer that this is a web page. How do you do that? By adding .html. So by doing so, you tell the computer that this file should be opened by a browser. And then when you hit save, it saves. Now you go into the file or the folder where you saved your file, right? You go into that folder and you open, or you open with a browser. When you do that, the web page gets displayed. I hope this answers that question. Okay, great. Somebody says, does doc type has to always be in capital letters? HTML is not case sensitive. HTML is not case sensitive. But most developers have their style of coding. Some want to use capital letters, others don't. So everybody and his style. But this is the most common style that we all use. Yeah, so most of the times the tags, all the tags will be in small letters, even though if it's in capital letters, it doesn't really affect any display. But, I think it's a standard that everybody is adopting that we use small letters. So it's even more reader friendly. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. Now we can write our first line of code. We have already started. And so we'll dive a little bit deeper into tags. We said earlier that in HTML, everything is about tags. That is why it is easy to learn. You just have to know the tags. So the first thing we want to know over here is heading. Whenever we are creating a web page, we would like to differentiate between text, right? Let's see an example over here. So I'll go to this website, jw.org, to show you an example. So when you get to this website, you realize that there's so much text on this website, so much text. And you realize that each text looks a little bit different. And you can clearly tell which one is the title and which one is not. So on this screen, we can say that the text featured over here is the title, right, for this section. And then we have another title over here, select a topic that interests you. This is also a title. It's different from other texts in terms of its font size. What are we trying to say? We are trying to say that when we are developing a website, we want to differentiate between content. We want people to know what is the title, what is the content under that title, what is an image, what is not, okay? So we want to consider titles. How do we introduce titles on our web page? HTML is all about tags. So clearly, we need a heading tag. The heading tag tells us what is a title on a page or what is a heading on a page. How do we introduce that? The heading comes in different sizes, okay, different font sizes. It ranges from 1 to 6. So any of these 6 elements over here will create a heading. Let's play around with some code. Let's see how that is done. So I'm going to remove this text from my body. Remember, because I want the heading to display to the user, I'll put it in the body. So it goes in the body like this, my heading. And then I'll say this is the biggest heading, right? Great. Why do I use H1 over here and not H2, H3, H4, or H5? H1 is the biggest heading there is, or the biggest title you can get. So if it is the main heading of your page, then you can use H1. So let me put some meaningful content here. Let me say, welcome to my site, because I want to welcome people to the site. Okay, great. And then I will hit save, and I will go and preview this and see what comes up. Remember, I renamed my file, so I just have to change something here and hit refresh. So once I've done that, we can clearly see that we have a big heading here which says, welcome to my site. Okay, let's see the difference between headings. How do we do that? So right below the H1, I'll introduce H2 and say this is H2. And right below H2, I'll introduce H3 and say this is H3. And then I'll do same for H4. The reason why we are doing this, so we will appreciate the difference between these headings. This is H4. So I'll just copy and paste from this point to save time. Then I will just change 4 to 5 and change 4 to 6. Okay, so we have all the 6 different types of headings. I will hit save and we go and refresh the page, see what happens. Great, so we see all the different headings are loaded, right? And now we can clearly appreciate the difference between them in terms of font size. Good, so anytime you want to create a heading in a web page or on a web page, we don't use any tag apart from the H tags, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, or H6. Any of these ones will create a heading. So assuming this is my main heading, this can be a subheading, this can be a subheading under this subheading, so on and so forth. Interesting. Any questions at this point before we move on to another tag? Okay, please, are you understanding what we are doing so far? If yes, kindly type yes so that I know what to do. If I should move a little bit slower so that I know what to do. Okay, interesting. Then let's move on. We are still on tags, right? Let's go to this website again. Let's say we are still on jw.org. Now, under the featured, we have prejudice. Are you infected? Prejudice. Are you infected? You realize that when I put the mouse over that text, it turns into a link, something I can click, right? So how do we create such links on our web pages? Let's have a look at that. You can create a link on the web page to jump to another page by using the hyperlinks tag or the links tag. So I'll repeat that again. You can create a link to another page by using the link tag. This tag is introduced by what we see on the screen over here. We have open angle bracket, we have A, we have some text, and we have the closing angle bracket. This is the link tag. But somebody will ask, when we were talking about tags, we said HTML tag, and then we have the word or the text HTML between the angle brackets. We talk about head tag, we have the text head between the angle brackets. We talk about body tag, we have the text body between the angle brackets. We talk about H tag or the heading tags, we have H1 and 2 up to 6. We understand why there are some numbers, but when we come to link, we have the A tag. Why is it that way? Another word for link is anchor, and anchor starts with A, right? That is why we have the A tag. So we can say to create an anchor, we will introduce the A tag into our code. So let's see how that is done. So I'll introduce a link right below our heading, and then I'll say this is an anchor. Anytime you open a tag, you have to close it. And if you are using any of the text editors I shared in the group, you realize that with most of them, as soon as you open the tag, it closes it for you automatically. Okay, so between these tags, I want to say visit my profile page on LinkedIn. I want to direct users or visitors now to another page. Okay, now let's have a look at this. I have the A tag, all right. I've closed it, all right. I follow all the rules. Let me save and let's go and refresh and see. So we refresh my page and we see the text, all right, visit my profile page on LinkedIn. But when I put the mouse over it, nothing happens. It doesn't show that it leads to any page. Why is that? because we have not told the browser where to direct us to. We just told the browser that this is a link, but we didn't let the browser know the location the link is pointing to. How do we tell the browser the location of our link? Inside our opening tag, we will introduce something new, the reference of the link, right? The hyperlink reference, href. And we'll say it is equal to something. So whenever we are creating a link, we have to tell the browser the hyperlink reference, where the link should lead to. Okay, interesting. So here I'm saying that, look, when you click on this link, it should take you to Facebook. So I'm going to say https www.facebook.com. So now the browser understands that, okay, when the user clicks on visit my profile page on LinkedIn, it should rather take them to Facebook. Let me just do Facebook over here so that it makes sense. Interesting. So visit my profile page on Facebook. I put Facebook link over there and I click save. All right, so let's go and preview and see if anything interesting happens. So I don't know if you realized it, but the color for that text has just changed. Okay, the color for that text has just changed. Now, when I put the mouse over it, I get a link, right? I can click on it and it's going to load my Facebook. Interesting. So that is how links work in web pages. So if you go to a website and you click a link and something happens, it's not magic. You get it? It's just a line of code, something simple. But if you don't know, you think it's something complex. I hope you now appreciate how links are created. Okay, because we've introduced something here, we would like to talk about it a little briefly. We introduced something new, which is the href, right? This one, href. Great. This is an attribute, the highlighted portion of the element. It's an attribute. It's called an attribute. It tells or it gives the browser extra information about the whole element. You get it? This whole thing over here is an element. An element consists of the opening tag, some content, and the closing tag. Okay, and this attribute over here gives the browser further information about this element. So, for example, this attribute is going to tell the browser that, look, direct the user to Facebook. Okay. Somebody asks, is it possible to share your document with us? Yes, I'll do that right after the bootcamp or webinar. Okay, great. So do you have any question on links, or can we move on to the next slide? If you have any question, you can type it in the chat. Okay, I understand some people have their videos turned on. Kindly turn off your videos. I think it's distracting other people as well. So if we are on video, let's turn off our camera. I think it's distracting other people. All right, thank you very much. I see everybody is off camera now. I appreciate it. Okay, interesting. Let's go on with our bootcamp. So yeah, we just talked about attributes. Now we realize that an attribute gives further information about the element, right? And in this case, the href is telling the browser where to take users to. Okay, now we want to add images. Our website is boring, isn't it? Just text, no images. Who does this? So let's add some image to make it nice. You guessed right. The image tag is what we will use to introduce images onto our web page. The image tag. So how is that written? We can see that clearly on our screen over here. Open angle brackets, and then we have some attributes inside of the image tag. One such attribute is the src. One thing I like about HTML is it makes sense. I can guess that SRC stands for source, the source of the image, right? If I want to introduce an image, at least I have to tell the browser where that image is located, isn't it? Great. So the SRC, which stands for source, tells the browser the source of the image. So the value for the SRC attribute will be the address to the image, okay? And we have here the alt attribute, and obviously that one also makes sense. If the image is unable to load, what text should be displayed? So if the image is not loaded successfully, then this text will be displayed so the user knows that, oh, okay, there was supposed to be a Cuckoo Bright's image, but it didn't load, or I should have seen a dog, but it didn't load. Yeah, just something to let the user know what was supposed to load. Okay, now let's play around with some code. Let's see how it will work. So in my code, I continue by introducing my image tag. When I do this, it's not enough. This is image tag, correct, but it's not enough. The browser will get confused. Where should I load the image from? I need to assist the browser to know the source of the image. So I'll say src equals, then I'll put the source of the, I'll put the source of the image there. The question is, where am I going to pick my image from? I think I saw a nice image on Google. So let me just go and fetch it. So google.com, and let me type happiness, right? And let me go to images. And then I think I like this image, so I want to use it on my website. It says, what is happiness? Okay, so how can I get the address of this image? I can just right click, copy image address, which is this, right? Copy image address, and then use that address in my code. So that is the image address in my code. And when I save this document and refresh, this content or this image should be displayed. But there's something we've not done. If the image doesn't display, what text should be displayed? That's the alt text. So let's really go back to our code and introduce another attribute. We call it alt. And then we will try to describe the image. This image is about happiness, right? So we'll say happy people, or we'll say image of happy people, right? An image of happy people. In case it doesn't load successfully, then the person knows that, okay, this image was something of happy people. Okay, so I will just save, and then I'll refresh and see how it works. So when I hit refresh, it's now loading the image from the internet. Page has not finished loading yet. I think the image is quite heavy. Let me see. Yeah, 1024 by 512. Okay, it's loaded now, I think. Yeah, it's loaded, but the image is too big. We'll work on that. But this shows that the image tag really works, right? Okay. This shows that the image tag really works. Okay, any questions up to this point? Somebody says, which editor are you using? I'm using Visual Studio Code, VS Code. If you are using Sublime or Notepad++, it will still work. Okay, all right. Interesting. If you have any question up to this point, let us hear it before we move on. If there's no question, then I think we can move on to the next slide. Interesting. So I think we have covered some few important stuff in HTML. We have appreciated that without HTML, it will be difficult for us to create a website. No matter the language you are using, Python, PHP, Java, if you invent your own language today, you have to eventually use some HTML to display content on any web page. So we really appreciate what HTML does. And interestingly, it is not difficult at all. It's just about tags. If you know the tags to write, you can get anything done in terms of displaying content on your web page with HTML. We looked at the paragraph, the heading, the link, and the image tag. And we also talked about HTML attributes. We said attributes give, how do you call it, the browser more information about what, about the element, right? Interesting. Please, if you have any question, let's hear it now. Then we can move on to another slide. Any questions? Or let me ask, are we getting it up to this point? Do we understand everything? Is there anything bothering us? If we get it, we can type yes so that we know we understand. Okay, someone is asking us to go through the image once again. So I'll quickly do that and then we'll go to another thing. All right. So let me go to the code. I want to cut this thing off. Okay. All right, interesting. So this is my image tag, right? This is my image tag. I open my angle brackets, the text image, and I close it. This is enough for a tag, but not image tag because we can't know, or the browser can't know the source of the image. So we add an attribute. We said attributes give further information to the browser about the element. The element here is the image. And the further information we want to give the browser is the source of the image. So we say, okay, the image is located on this link. So go and fetch it for us. If you are able to fetch the image, this is what the image was about. It's image of happy people. Image of happy people, right? So once you've done this and you save, you should get image loaded on your web page. All right, any other questions? Somebody said, does the image need to be loaded from the internet? Can't it be uploaded from our own computer? Obviously, we can upload image from our own computer. I think we have a lot to do now, so I will just talk about that briefly. I won't show you how it is done. When we go into our folder, our folder here, where is the folder? Just a second. Okay. So when we go into where I saved the stuff, code COVID-19, this is where my file is, right? Let me see if I will just fetch an image somewhere and put here. Let's do this. So let me fetch this image of Africa. I'll put the image in the same folder as the web page, okay? So I put the image here in the same folder as the web page. The name of the image is africamap.png. I'll copy that. Now I'll come back to my editor and then I'll delete this because now I'm fetching image from my Then I'll paste the name of the image over there, africamap.png. The image is in the same folder as my project. So I save, and then I'll refresh. So what do we see? The African map is also so huge and it covers the whole page, but at least we appreciate the image as loaded, right? Interesting. So if we want an image from our own machine, we will import the image into the same project folder, and then we will now type the name of the image, just like that, and it will load. If the image is in a folder inside our project folder, the name of the folder in which it is has to come first. All right, interesting. Now let's go on with another slide. We want to do a lot today in just 2 hours. Yeah, we wanted to have some fun now, but looking at it, our time may not permit us all the time now. Almost 5, right? So let's go ahead. We'll come and have some fun later. Now we realize that our website is so boring. I can't charge anybody for this thing. Now, you see, it's so boring. Now we have to beautify the site. Okay, we have to beautify the site. HTML cannot help us in beautifying our website. That is where another language comes in, CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. We remember we said HTML is just the skeleton. A skeleton is not in any form beautiful, right? A skeleton is scary. That is why our website is scary up to this point. Now we will beautify it with CSS. So let's go back to our slide. CSS tells the browser how to display stuff. For example, I want my title to be in red color. I want my background to be pink. I want my image to be round. Those things are achieved with CSS. You get it? Interesting. Those things are achieved with CSS. So we'll have an intro to that right now. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Please don't forget. How does CSS look like? It's also very simple. This is CSS code. And what are we trying to achieve over here? Excuse me. Since CSS beautifies HTML, and since HTML is all about tags, then to beautify our page, we need to let the browser know which tag we are targeting, right? So if we want to beautify a heading, we let the browser know that, okay, this CSS code should be applied to this particular heading. If we want to beautify the whole body, then this CSS code should be applied to the body, right? So in the code you see on the screen, the letter P represents a tag. P is for paragraph tag. If you want to create paragraphs, we use the P tag. We'll have a look at that soon. And then we have curly brackets, opening and closing curly brackets with some properties and values in there, okay? So we are telling the browser that, look, if you see any paragraph, let the font size be Venada or Vedana, and let the font family be Vedana, and let the font size be 20. So all the paragraphs will follow this rule. Interesting. Let's go back to our own code and see how we can apply it here. Now, I'll try to get rid of all these extra headings because they are not really needed. And then below the heading, I'll put a paragraph P tag, and I have my paragraph. And inside that paragraph, I'll just put some dummy text because I can't think of anything right now. I'll just put some dummy text. I need a lengthy paragraph, so I'll just duplicate that. Okay. Great. So I'll just duplicate that, and I have my paragraph. I will save. and we'll go to the page to refresh. Great, so after my heading, welcome to my site, I have my paragraph, which is correct. And then it follows like that. Now I want to make this paragraph red. How do I do that? I can apply CSS directly to the tag in the form of an attribute. Okay, so I'll tell the browser, style this element, give it a color of red. You get it? I'll introduce the style. Style is equal to, then the property I want here is a color, and the value is red. When I do this, the browser immediately will understand that this text shouldn't be black or white, it should be red. So I'll save and then we preview to see if it works. You see for yourself, the browser follows exactly what we asked it to do. Now the text is colored in red. This is one way of introducing CSS into our web page. There are other ways we can introduce CSS in the heading over here by introducing a style tag, and then we put our code there, or we can import it from another file. But because of time, we will only talk about introducing CSS inline in our opening tag like this. Please, do you have any question at this point, or can we move on? Okay, so I guess there's no question and we are good. So let's solve a major problem on our website now. Our major problem is the image. Look at the image. It's not really nice because it's too huge, right? So let's fix that problem. We fix that problem by styling our image tag. The problem is with the image, so let's style it. Now we want to style the image. What problem does the image have? The width is too much and the height is the same. So what property do we need to use here? We need to use the width. It's the width that has a problem. So to fix it, we use the width property. See how easy it is. So we say width, and we will say we want the width to be just 40% of the screen width. Okay, I'm using a 24-inch monitor. So 40% of that 24 inches will be applied to what? The image. Let's see if it will work. So the image is still big. I refresh and look at what happened. The image size reduced. You get it? We couldn't have achieved that easily in HTML. CSS is the main language for beautifying what? Websites. Any question at this point, please, or can we move on? Okay, are we all understanding everything so far? If we are, let's type yes so that I am confident you are understanding. Okay, interesting. All right, so we fixed one major problem on our site now, so I think we can go on. So we all appreciate what CSS does. Let's add another rule. Nobody wants any text to be in red. So instead of red, let's just say black. Let's leave it black. And rather the heading, let's say the heading should be blue. So we'll style the heading, we give it a color, and we say blue. Okay, so I will save, and I will go and refresh. I'll save, and then I'll go and refresh. And yes, we have the text black, the, how do you call it? The heading blue. So when I zoom out, this is how the whole thing is looking like. Okay, I'll zoom back in. All right. So what is left to cover in this bootcamp? The most used properties in CSS are the following: the color, the background color, the margin, padding, font family, font size, height, width. Let's try out the background color. Let's see how it will work. We want to apply a background color to the whole page. That is the body, right? So we'll style the body and we'll say background color should be, what color should we use? Somebody should type a color and let's use that color. Just to keep it interactive. Okay, nobody's typing, so let me use my, okay, somebody says indigo. Let's see if indigo exists here. Indigo. Okay, so okay, indigo showed up. So I'll save and then I'll go and refresh the page. And yes, we have indigo showing up. Somebody says brown. Let's try that and see. So we use brown, we save, and we refresh. Oh, what did I do? I think I rather change the heading, right? Yeah, so I'll go and change indigo to brown. And then I will save. Yeah, and this is nice. I think we are getting somewhere. But still, we can't sell this website to anybody, right? It needs a lot of work. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. The color is used to set the color of text like we have seen. The background color is used to set the background color of elements like we have seen. The margin is used to set space between two elements. So right now, the space between welcome and the text is a margin, okay? If I want to increase that space, I'll give it more margin. If I want to reduce the space, I'll give it less margin, okay? And we have padding. It's used to set some padding within elements. We'll talk about that later. We have font family, obviously, because we use Microsoft Word. We know what font family can do. The same for font size. Height and width are self-explanatory. So let's move on to the next slide. Oh, it says let's play with CSS, but we have already played with it, right? So we will jump this one. What have we learned? So from this section, we have come to understand that without CSS, it will be difficult for us to beautify any web page. CSS tells the browser how to display stuff, right, on web pages in terms of design, in terms of color, in terms of size, those kind of stuff. And CSS stands for cascading style sheets. We should have some fun, but still time is against us. So let's finish the next section, then we have the fun together. Okay. Please answer this question in the chat sincerely. Do you think code is too much for you? Do you think code is too much for you? What we have seen right now, do you think is too much for you? Okay, if more people can answer. Okay. So all I'm saying is no, not at all. I doubt. Everything is good. Okay, interesting. But the fact is that for some people, code is difficult for them. So when I introduce beginners to web development, I also introduce them to what we call codeless development. Develop websites within minutes. You don't need any code. How can that be done? So the next section, we are going to see how we can develop websites without code. And I hope you will appreciate it as well. So welcome to codeless development. Codeless development is a term I just came up with that try to let us understand that yeah, there is a possibility of coming up with a complete website without even a single line of code. And we do that with what we call CMS, content management systems. Content management systems are free software on the internet that you can use to publish websites within minutes. One of those softwares, to me, the most popular and the most secure of them all is what we call WordPress. WordPress is a free software you can use to create a beautiful website, a beautiful blog, and you can use to create even mobile apps. Somebody will say, how is that possible? When we are developing mobile apps, most mobile apps depend on what we call APIs. And we can use WordPress to create the API for the mobile app. So with WordPress, we can still achieve our mobile app development goals. So it's not just a simple blogging tool, it's something very powerful we can use for websites. The question is anybody using WordPress at all? Yes, a lot of people are using WordPress. Here are just a few. We have TechCrunch, their website is on WordPress. Bloomberg, their website is on WordPress. Star Wars use WordPress. BBC America use WordPress. Sony, Disney, PlayStation, MTV News use WordPress. Somebody will say, what is Facebook doing here? Facebook as a company also use WordPress. They didn't use WordPress to create the Facebook platform, but you know, Facebook have different platforms, and some of those platforms are built on WordPress. I know if I don't show you evidence, some of you will doubt me. So here is a link to a site Facebook has created with WordPress. How do I access this link? Let me try to copy if possible. Okay, I have to do something here. Okay, so I have the link now. I will display for you to see. So, so I paste the link over there, research.facebook.com. So Facebook has a research department, and Facebook as a company, because it acknowledged WordPress as a good tool, they have so many developers, but they didn't use any of them. They just use WordPress to get the job done. See the website, isn't it beautiful? This is what WordPress can do, and we can actually do this within minutes. All right. Another company that uses WordPress is Microsoft. Microsoft as a company uses WordPress for some of their platforms. One such platform is news.microsoft.com, and I'll also get that displayed to you right away. So news.microsoft.com, this is how it looks like. Just a second, let me fetch the link again. News.microsoft.com. And this is Microsoft News, and it's built on WordPress. So clearly we appreciate the power and recognition for WordPress, right? So let's get into it. How can we develop websites with WordPress? Before we do that, let's see some facts about WordPress. Some people think WordPress is not secure, and I always laugh at them, because you as a developer today cannot create a software today that will be more secure than something people have been working on for years. A lot of developers have been working on WordPress for years. They have made mistakes, they have corrected those mistakes. If I start a software today, I might make some mistakes that they have already made and corrected. So they've put a lot of checks in place to make sure that WordPress is secure. WordPress supports e-commerce, is beginner friendly, is well suited for high traffic sites. WordPress has menus, so it makes it easy for you to add those kind of stuff onto your site. You can master WordPress in just 7 days. After the post slide, I will let you know how that is possible. Please, if you have some question now, you can kindly ask, then I can move on. If you are enjoying this WordPress site, to let me know. All right, I guess no questions. So I'll move on to the next. I'll move on to the next slide. Someone is asking for the cons, right? By that I mean I think you are trying to ask the negative side, right? So if you get a contract for web development and the client wants some specific features that you've set so many plugins in WordPress you couldn't get, that means you cannot provide the client that feature. But there are thousands of plugins that can be used that serve so many features on the WordPress platform. When it comes to payments, when it comes to forms, sliders, videos, so many plugins. When we start the WordPress itself, we'll get to have a look at it. The reason why we are doing WordPress is it's not every website contract you will get that you have to code. Okay, it's not every contract that you have to code. There are some contracts that will require that you use WordPress to get the job done neatly, faster, and then you go your way. Okay. All right, interesting. So enough of the talk. Let's do some WordPress. WordPress can be set up locally, that is on your own computer, and then play around with it. If you want to set up WordPress locally, then you need this software called XAMPP. You need XAMPP. XAMPP will make your computer a kind of server. You can install WordPress on it locally and play around with it. Or you can install WordPress on the internet. To install WordPress on the internet, it means you need to get some hosting, right? So when you go to example, this site, lindahost.com, you can get some hosting packages over there to start your web development. There are so many hosting companies. LindaHost is just one of them. Okay, so now I have set up WordPress on LindaHost, and I will give you the credentials right now to log in at your end so we all play around with it. Bright.com. So I'm going to post this link in the chat. This is the setup for WordPress I have done. Then you can go there. You can go there and then we take it from there. So if possible, let everybody go to this link I have sent in the chat. I'm going to send it on the WhatsApp as well so that we can all be on the same page. So I'll wait for a minute and then I'll continue just to make sure everybody is there. Or if you are there, you can just type yes so that I know majority are there so that we can save some time. Okay, if you get to the site, please type yes. And then when I see the numbers going up, we can start. The link is wp.kwekubright.com. You can get it in the chat. You can get it in the WhatsApp. Okay, interesting. So we'll just go ahead now, assuming everybody is there. So this is WordPress. After installing WordPress, you get this. You don't write a single line of code. And to be frank, this is way, way, way beautiful than what we have done here. Who will disagree? You get a contract, the person is stingy, the person doesn't want to pay you what you deserve. Would you like to code so many lines of code? Even if you get a client who is good, WordPress can give you beautiful designs that are stunning, okay? Yeah, so it's not every time that we will code, but as beginners, we don't want to forget about coding. We will be coding along the way. I'm just introducing you to WordPress for a reason, okay? Interesting. So this is the WordPress front end. Obviously, this is where everybody comes when you log in to the site. But assuming you are the administrator for this site, where do you go to log in to your site? So if you get to a WordPress site, most of the WordPress sites, just add /wp-admin to log in to the site. the site name kwekubright.com/wp-admin. So the link I just sent you, just add /wp-admin and you'll be on the login page. I'm going to share this again in the WhatsApp and I'll share in the chat. Interesting. Please, if you are on the login page, kindly type yes so that I know you are there and then we can continue. Okay, if you are on the login page, kindly type yes so I know you are there and then we can continue. Then if you're having any issues, to kindly let us know. We are on standby to assist quickly. Okay, interesting. Somebody says link again, so I'm going to post the link again. WP admin. All right, so I'm going to log in from here. You can log in with these credentials. The username bootcamp, the password bootcamp, no caps. Username bootcamp, password bootcamp, no caps. Username bootcamp, password bootcamp, no caps. So username bootcamp, pass. I understand the password has been set to bootcamp 2020. So username bootcamp, password bootcamp 2020. Please, if you log in successfully, kindly type yes so that we know we are good to go. Okay, username bootcamp, password bootcamp 2020, no caps. Interesting. So assuming you have logged in, you see what you see, right? That is the WordPress dashboard. That is the WordPress dashboard. And in just a second, I will explain to you the various stuff you see there on the page. All right, so web development, we will be creating pages, isn't it? We'll be creating pages. So when we were trying to code ourselves, you realize that we started coding a page. So this is a page, right? And then we came here to preview the page. So one thing you keep in mind is in web development, we create so many pages, then we link these pages together. Okay, we create pages, and then we link these pages together. In WordPress, we have an option, as you can see on the screen, for creating pages. So I'll zoom in. So in WordPress, when you come to the sidebar, okay, this side over here, we have something there for pages. So if you want to create a page, this is where you come to create the page. Interesting. And then on some websites, we have what we call posts. If we go to this website, for instance, I think I've closed it. Let me go to myjoyonline.com, okay, to explain something to you. So My Joy Online is a news platform. Everything or most of the things you see here are not pages, they are posts. Okay, they are posts. So there's one post that talks about the Japan royalties. There's another one that talks about everything here is in Japan. Interesting. So all those things are what? Are posts. Okay. So when you want to create a post in WordPress, where do you go? You don't come to comments. You don't come to appearance. You come to post. WordPress has made that option available for us to create posts. Okay. Now, we understand we can create pages, we can create posts. Now, how do we link pages together? Websites is about various pages linked together. How can we link pages together? By linking pages together, we will come to what we call menus, appearance menus, to link pages together. For now, we are going to concentrate on these three things, okay? We are going to concentrate on these three things. This is basically all what WordPress is about. Posts, pages, menus. It's not difficult. So what about the presentation of our website? Let me go to the website as we have it now. Assuming I don't like this design, assuming my client says, look, what is this you have done? I want something more catchy, something with colors. I don't want the sidebar to be at the top. I want the footer to be this. I want an image here. I want a slider here. I want something to look like something. That means the presentation that we have at the time is not, the client is not happy with it. That brings us to what we call themes. How can we get presentations of our choice? How can we get presentation of our choice? How should our website appear? We see appearance over here, answers that question. So when we click on appearance, everything over there is about how the website should appear. How the website should appear. Okay. I believe we are all in the dashboard, and let's click on appearance, and then we move on from there. So assuming you are on appearance right now, you will see that there is a title at the top over there, themes. So whatever you see here, they are themes for the development of our WordPress website. Please, let's be on mute. If we have a question, let's type it inside the group so that we can be attended to. Somebody is asking, what did you say about XAMPP? Please, I'll come back to that once I finish with the WordPress. Thank you. So everything we see here is themes, okay? So if you want a particular presentation for your website, then you have to find the theme that offers that presentation. There are so many themes in WordPress. To add a theme, what do we do? So when you are on the appearance page, themes, you see at the top over there, add new. So you just click on it. You just click on add new. And so many themes pop up. These are the various presentations that we can use on our website. The themes are more than 1,000. Okay, you have to search for them. So assuming I'm developing the site for a school, I need a school theme. So I'll just come here and search for school. Let me see what pops up. So these are themes for schools, okay? So if I understand my client's requirements, I can look at these various themes and see which one fits his requirements, and then I'll use it for him. So once I identify that, oh, this theme can do the job, then I have to what? Install it. You get it? Interesting. So let's go up. The first theme over there says, what's the name? It says school. I will install it from here. So please, you don't have to take any action at your end. So I'll click install. And once the theme is installed, I have to activate. I'll click activate to activate the theme. So now my theme is the active theme, as we can see. Interesting. So basically, that is how to find the right presentation for your website or the right theme for your website, and that is how to install it. Let's go over it again. Assuming I want to install another theme, I come to appearance, I click on add new at the top here, and then I look for the theme. Let's say it's about news. let's say it's a blog website, it's about news. I search news and so many news templates come. I think this one is really nice, right? So I will just install it. I'll just install it. And once it is installed, I will activate. By doing so, I have my new active news theme. I will go and preview and see what is happening right now on the page. So you see the layout and the presentation we have now is a news style of website. Previously, it was this, but now it is this. We didn't write a single line of code, but we have these pages come up for us. Now let's just try to see the amount of code that goes into this by viewing source. And when we click view page source, this is the amount of code that has gone into that page. Now WordPress makes it easier. We didn't have to write all those stuff, but we have everything looking nicer and beautiful. Okay, enough of the talk. Let's create some pages together. What I will do is I have a theme that I purposely want us to use for this webinar. So I will just go ahead and activate. Wow, I see some people have also installed themes. That's nice. That's nice. Good job. But please, everybody should hold on for now because I'm going to activate a particular theme which we would be using together to create pages. So please, nobody should install any other theme from now. Thank you for understanding. The theme I want to activate is Narrow Grow. So I have clicked activate. And yes, we have the theme activated. Whenever you install a theme and then you activate it, please keep in mind, you have to look out for this notice at the top. Some themes depend on plugins to work. We talked about you meeting a client with some specific features that you may not find in WordPress, for which you have to set plugins, right? Yes. So this theme has some features that works with some plugins. And according to the notice, it says those plugins, some of them are inactive, some of them haven't been installed. So we have to install them. Whenever you install a theme, read the notice and activate the plugins. So on the activate plugins page, let me go back. I think I was too fast, so people didn't see what I did. And now I don't have the notice, so let me go here. Okay, so the notice at the top says I should activate this theme. So I click on begin activating plugin. Please, you don't have to do this with me. Once I'm done with this side, then we can do everything together. Okay, thank you. So now on this page, I will just select every plugin over here and I will say, because they have all been installed pending activation, I will just say activate. And I'll just wait for the activation to happen. Interesting, and it says they have been successfully activated. So now we can go ahead with our page. Okay, but before we do that, let's go and see what's happening on our website. So I will just right-click this and preview the site. And this is what we have. The layout has changed, right? Previously, it was this, then it was this, now it is this. Interesting. So I'm going back to when we activated plugins. It says a particular plugin called WooCommerce needs attention. It's asking me to set it up. I will not do it for now. Do it later. So whenever you are using WordPress, you just be reading the instructions on the screen and you are good to go. So we realize that now on our dashboard, we have additional options in the sidebar that we can use to make this website beautiful. What we are interested in now is pages. Pages. So kindly go to pages. Kindly go to pages. And over there, you will see we have 2 pages already. I will just trash those pages or delete those pages for now. So we don't have any page, right? So let's create page together. So what I want you to do is follow me on the screen first. Then you also create your own page at your end. When you are creating your page, please use your name, okay? Use your name so that your page does not conflict with somebody else's page, okay? Please use your name. Okay, but follow me first. So when you want to create a page, once you are on pages, click on add new. Now, when you click on add new, the page is going to load for you to create your page. All right, so this is where we are now. Please, are you all following? Is there any questions? Do you understand so far? If you understand everything we are doing so far, please type yes, so I'm confident to go on. All right, so I understand everyone understands and there's no question. So if you can see the screen, this is the page for us to develop our web page, right? So we are no longer in any text editor writing code, but we are on this nice user-friendly stuff, which is good. I will click WP Bakery Page Builder at the top. And the presentation even looks more user-friendly. Now, the first thing I want to do is give my page a title. Remember this? Remember this? Yes, in WordPress, this is where we put it, the page title. So I'll call my page Kweku Bright. Remember, everybody should name his page by his name so we don't conflict. But you should follow, we do it together before you try it at your end. So once I have the page title, I will now select this back-end editor. Interesting. Now, once I have my back-end editor selected, see what happens. When I click add an element, what is an element? We talked about that already. This is the element, heading element. This is paragraph element. This is image element, right? So in WordPress, add an element, it pops up so many elements for us. Do we want a contact form? Do we want a row? Do we want a text block like a paragraph? Do we want to add Facebook icon where people can click and like our page? Do we want to add an image carousel? Do we want to add a heading as we can see here? Do we want to add a banner, an icon? There are so many options for us to choose from, and they have been categorized into content, social media, structure, WordPress widgets, narrow, so many categories. Okay, so almost everything you will need on your web page is here. For now, I want to create a row. A row is like a section on my website. Let me show you an example. So on jw.org, this is a row. Okay, this whole section is a row, and that row contains content. Why do we need to use rows? We need to use rows so that we can organize our content. Okay, so I create a row, and in the row, I want to add, what should I add now? What should I add now? Let's say I want to add a heading. Okay, so I choose the heading. I think I was too fast there, so I will go back. So this is my row. I want to add content, so I click this plus sign. It pops up the various elements that are to my disposal. I want to add a heading, so I can type heading in the search, and the various types of heading will pop up. I select my heading that I want, and I wait for the options. Now, these are various layouts for the heading that I can have. I leave everything default, and I'll say this is my first heading. Should I have a subtitle under the heading? Maybe, so I'll say subtitle for my heading. What should be the offset? This will come to that later. Which tag should I use for the heading? Should it be H3? I want it to be the biggest heading, so I'll use H1. Interesting. So there are some other options, but we'll leave everything default for the purpose of, because we are beginners, right? So I have that heading. So what do I do now? I will just go ahead and publish my page. So on the top right side of the page, I can see publish. I'll click on it. Once I publish, this page is open for everyone to access. And this is the link. It says permalink, right? This is the link. So I'll copy the link, go to my browser, tab, and then paste it to see how it appears. So this is my first heading, right? And this is the subtitle under the heading. That is how to create a heading on a page in WordPress. Please, do you understand? Any questions? Do you understand any questions? We have like 20 minutes more. Okay, no question. Let's go on. So what I want you to do is create a page of your own, like we said. Go to pages, add new, set the title to your name, and then have some fun. Let's use some 5 minutes to create a page. You can put so many elements as you wish on your page. When you are done, publish the page and post the link onto the chat so that we have a look at it over here. Once you post it onto the chat, I'll display it on the screen for all of us to see. So we have some 5 minutes to have some fun on our own. During that 5 minutes, if you have any questions, you can post it, then we will attend to you. All right, it's 5:42 now. So when it's 5:47, then we will come back together. All right, the login, I'll post the login here again. The login is Bootcamp for the username, and the password is Bootcamp 2020. All right, so somebody wants us to be going over whilst we practice. So to create a page, you go to pages. Once the page is loaded, you click on add new. Once you click on add new, you have to click on WP Bakery Page Builder at the top. Doing that will give you a better presentation on this page. So I'll click WP Bakery Page Builder. And when the page loads, I will now give my page a title, Kweku Bright 2. I'll now give my page a title. I will click on Backend Editor. So I'll get an even more better presentation, okay? Backend Editor. Now doing so brings up add an element option. I'll add an element, and because I want to organize everything in rows, I'll search for the row element. Then I would Click on it. In this row, I need, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? In this row, I need some head. Let me use something else. Let's say I need a video, right? I need a video, so I'll put it there. And then I'll put some text. This is video about Ghana, right? Now I need to insert the video URL. So I'll just find some video online and just put it there. So let's say video of Ghana. And amazing Ghana, I'll just go to YouTube, fetch that URL, and then I'll come back here to post that URL, and then I'll save. When I do that, I can publish my website. Then I can come to the top here, permalinks, to copy the link. And then I'll just go to that link to see what happened. So on the page, I see this, it says this is a video about Ghana. I click on it and see what happens. The video pops up and it starts playing. I didn't have to write any code to get this. You get it. So as beginners, we can start building websites for some small coins with WordPress while we continue or we advance with the programming itself. Great. It's now 5:47. Time is up. So we'll go back. If you are done, kindly post your link and let's have a look at it together. Or do we need more time? Okay. Please, who is done? If you are done, kindly post your link and let's see what we can do about that. Alternatively, I can fetch the links from here myself. I can see, seems nobody's done. Okay, I'll wait for a while. If you are done, kindly publish it so that I'll see it over here as published. Okay, I think Austin is done. So I'll view Austin's page. So this is all right, interesting. So Austin has a title with a subtitle at the top, which is good. And the title of the page appears here. And when we check the top there, we have Austin Kujo. So your name, Austin, also appears in the title. Okay, some of you said you didn't get it well. Please, which side didn't you get? Which area to be specific? If you could type that in the chat. Somebody else is published, I guess. McCaffrey Clue is also published, so I will quickly check hers or his out. Yeah, so I will just check this out. Okay, so also title and then subtitle. Okay, if we can go a little bit one step ahead, it will be great. Max Reflex also is on it. Let me check what is there. Okay, I'll check George very soon. Oh, okay, so somebody did the video. Interesting. That's brilliant. That's great. So let me check George now. So let me search George. I can't see George. Okay, George is Max Reflex. Okay, so I think I just checked that right now. Yeah, so George, this is yours. This is very good. Well done. Any other person want us to check this? Some people are still on draft. Have we checked Eunice? Let's check Eunice out. Wow. Eunice, you come for one solo, okay? Interesting. I like this one. So when you click on view full screen, the image pops up. So WordPress is great, okay, especially for us beginners, and we can use it to achieve interesting stuff. Okay, interesting. I will check one last one, and then we'll move ahead. I think we have only 8 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen after that. Okay, so let's quickly, I think it's enough with the checking. Let's go on to the next thing. So we talked about pages. Now, posts. To create a post, you come to posts. And then just like pages, you click on add new at the top. Okay. Now when you click on add new at the top, you click on WP Bakery page builder. Interesting. And then you will give our post a title. So if it's a news platform that you are developing, that you have posts, what is the current news? So let's say Ghana is so beautiful, right? Maybe that's something that's trending you want to post about. So that will be the title. And then over here, you have your post content. Okay. So the paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of text. You have it there like that. Then maybe somewhere in the middle, you can put an image. So to do that, you click on add media at the top. And then you can upload the image directly from your computer. So I'll use this image. Okay, I see there's some images there already. And then I'll click on insert into post. So the image gets added to my post. I can expand as I wish. Now, once I'm done, I would like to search or to set featured image. So when we come down, we have featured image. Which image should be displayed before the post is clicked? Let me use one of the images here. Let me use this one. It's very, very big. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is better. So I'll use this one. and then I will publish. Okay. So once I have published, I will go and preview my page or my post. And this is how it's coming. So when the user comes, the user can read, okay, Ghana is beautiful, Ghana is that, Ghana is that, okay, this is an image about Ghana, blah, 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 blah. And then if the user wants to leave a comment, there is a section here the user can leave a comment. Wow, this article is great. And then the user can submit the comment. All right, so you go into a website, there's an article, people have commented on that article, people are leaving replies. This is how it works on WordPress. Interesting. Please, are you following up to this point? Do you understand? If you understand, kindly type yes. We have only 4 minutes for the bootcamp to end. What do you suggest? I don't know if it will automatically continue after 4 minutes. Maybe we use 5 minutes to wrap up everything. Or we call it a day. What do you suggest? Okay, please let me know what you think in the chat. We have like 3 minutes to end. What do you suggest? Okay, so I'll quickly wrap up this one and try to be on time. So we end at exactly 6. Interesting. So yeah, what have we achieved so far? What have we achieved so far? So today we have come to, as beginners, appreciate how websites work. And we have identified that we can actually code everything from scratch using HTML and CSS, or we can use WordPress to develop websites. We've seen how to do that in HTML, and we've seen how to style the website in CSS. And now we've played around with WordPress. We've seen how we can add pages and all those kind of stuff. We understand that WordPress is popular. WordPress is easy. A lot of big brands acknowledge it. As a result, they use it. It's secure. It supports e-commerce, beginner friendly as well. So what is the way forward from here? The way forward is for you to continue whatever we have learned today in terms of the HTML, CSS, and WordPress on your own. I said earlier on in one slide that there are some sources where you can get some help. One of them is, where was that? Yeah. One of them is bootcamps like this one, maximinyansa.com, W3 Schools, Udemy, and you can contact me for one-on-one training if you wish after this session. I want to be on time. We have some few seconds. So I will thank all of you for joining. If you have any questions, kindly post it in the group. I will share the slide with you and the recording as well. You can get on my website later on. I will delete this group tomorrow. If you have any question, please post it there. Let's talk on the group today. Thank you. Time's up. Bye.